Good morning and welcome to DCT. It is day 17 of Take the 28-Day Challenge. And today we're talking about bad habits. Are my bad habits really addictions? Like, how can I tell the difference? I think it's a pretty important subject. I just want to share with you the research that I did yesterday on it. And I have been thinking about this a lot lately for a few different reasons, which I can get into in a minute. But if you've just joined us, don't be put off by the fact that it's day 17. Just stay. I think you're going to find some value in what we're going to share, and you'll have a great five-step meditation technique at the end of this. So just stay. All right. Bad habits. This is a statement. Bad habits are often addictions. How can we say that? And I'm going off script now because I thinking about this. I don't think all bad habits are addictions. So I'm actually going to contradict myself right there. Or I'm actually going to question this statement in the research that I dug up yesterday. I think if a bad habit is something you can't not do, I think if a bad habit is something that you do a lot and has real world consequences that are building up in your life, I think if there's something, which I'll get into in a minute, I think if there's something in the bad habit that seems to fix how you're feeling, which you're trying to get away from, I would say that's an addiction. So that's how we'll start. I think that's how we're going to start this. It's because I think it's complex, and I'm not an authority on addictions. Um, I'm not a medical doctor or a psychologist. And I want to be really mindful of the fact that we all have free agency and we're all at different points in our life. And I suppose what I'm going to do in a minute is speak about my perspective because that's a point of truth for me. But I'll read what research I dug up yesterday because I think it is interesting. I think we're reluctant to label something that's a bad habit as an addiction because of the social stigma that being labeled an addict can carry in society. And I think that stigma stops us from really truly understanding the nature of addictions per se. So there are a lot of opinions around addictions like, why can't he just handle his drink? Why can't they just quit XYZ? And it's easy to say about that person, they just seem to make a lot of bad choices, or they're weak, they don't have impulse control. And that can feel really judgy if you're on the receiving end of that and you feel out of control with your addictions. But psychologists thankfully assert that our addictions often run much, much deeper than mere bad habits. In other words, they're not just behaviors that we can cavalierly hack or release, but that they are, in fact, emotional pain points and unhealed wounds in disguise. So, disguised as bad habits. So, they're entry points. So, here's the science behind habits and addictions. This is just what I found interesting yesterday. Dr. Judson Brewer, a neuroscientist and addiction psychiatrist, argues in The Craving Mind, great title, that bad habits, whether it's overeating or overdrinking, smoking this, that, and the other, taking this substance, that substance, or even they put in doom scrolling in this list, are often tied to reward based learning. So we fall into these loops because they temporarily soothe an underlying discomfort or they reward a behavior. So it's not always that you do something that maybe isn't great for you that feels addictive when when you're self-soothing. Some of our greatest addictions can come about when we so-called celebrate. We've worked really hard and then we'll go out and we'll treat ourselves and celebrate with this thing. And that thing is an addiction. So I don't think it's always about a pain point. I think it is how sometimes we're raised about, when you work really hard or when you're quote unquote good as a kid, then you get rewarded with this, that, and the other. So I think that could be something to do with it. Okay, the brain's reward system, fueled by dopamine, plays a key role in reinforcing habits. According to Dr. Nora Volkow, director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse, repeated behaviors associated with pleasure or relief form neural pathways that make these habits automatically addictive. So when we do something that's pleasurable, we release dopamine that reinforces it, that gives us the payload, that gives us the reward, and then we kind of rewire. We build up this network of um, cue, thing, reward. So the emotional roots of bad habits. Psychologist Dr. Gabamate in the realm of hungry gods delves into the emotional pain beneath addictions. He states that most addictions stem from unmet emotional needs or past trauma. Habits like compulsive eating, gambling, or even procrastination aren't just about poor willpower. They're attempts to numb pain or fill a void. As Mate asks poignantly, the question is not why the addiction, but why the pain. So, what might our bad habits, addictions, be telling us? Renowned author James Clear in Atomic Habits, a book I'm reading at the moment, brilliant, highlights that every habit, good or bad, is a response to a cue. Often bad habits are trying to tell us something, but what? Well, here's three things. Stress. Overeating or smoking or drinking could signal unmet needs for relaxation or boundaries. So, we're trying to find a way to relax and we think this is how we relax, and that gives us the payload of instant relaxation because we're wired that way. Number 2, loneliness. Excessive screen time might reflect a longing for genuine connection. That makes sense. Boredom. Shopping or snacking compulsively may be a way to seek novelty and purpose. And I would lump in here with online stuff. You've got gaming. I think gaming is about escaping the reality. Perhaps we are lonely, perhaps we're bored with our lives. And so gaming creates this fantastical landscape where we can be anything and be anyone and do anything, which is um which is really quite fantastic, isn't it? But there are other things that you can do online too that I think, you know, pull you out of yourself. So perhaps next time we're triggered into a bad habit that is addictive, because they are interchangeable, we can ask, what am I really feeling right now? What am I running from? What is this habit covering up temporarily? When we approach addictive bad habits with curiosity and compassion, we open up a space, we create a pause, and in time, we can even delay and release altogether the need for that thing, that addiction, whatever that is for you. If you just introduce a pause, you can delay, you can connect to your cognitive mind, you can get grounded and present, and you can say with full lucidity, what's this about right now? What is this about? What's triggered me? Why am I doing this right now? And I can speak to this personally, and I really this is an important one for me. I can tell you, I've been sober for 2 years. It is one of the greatest gifts that I've ever given myself, but I don't take it for granted every single day. Every single day, I give thanks for the fact that I'm sober, because it's sobriety for me. For me, I can only talk about my experience. Has opened up so much self inquiry. It has got rid of the numbness and it's allowed me to dig down, not always comfortably, often very uncomfortable feelings, but it's allowed me to pull the root out of my impulsive behavior. So I do empathize and I sympathize with addictive bad habits. I think it's really easy to self blame, to self judge, to have guilt and shame around this. And I don't think that's useful. I think it's time for us to come together, to own this, to understand these things, and to help each other heal and support each other. I've put here, it's time to rewrite the script. So, yes, today, if this is something that's really big for you, just be patient. Go gentle and give yourself the time to discover what your addictions, bad habits are anchored into. Mindfulness techniques and meditation are useful tools, but please also make sure that you seek professional guidance and get the support and help that you might need in the healing of and recovery from addictive behaviors. And more importantly, what lies behind them, because they're just the symptom. And remember also that you're not alone. You're not alone. There are many, many people making positive changes in their life. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, just like all habits. It takes time. So let's get into what we do every single day. Again, if you're new here, what we're about to do is we're going to practice a mindfulness technique called deep coherence technique. It's 5 steps. And what it does is it helps to support inner stillness and grounded awareness. It just makes you more present and it just gives you a wider bandwidth, comprehension, ability to be open to what life has to offer you. It's a very positive experience and it's really simple. So 5 steps, and we always start with step number 1. We're going to ground our feet to the earth. So close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, really get into your body. We've been talking a lot using the monkey mind, but now it's time to really to come back into our body, to be present to this now moment. So bring your awareness and your consciousness, your focus, your concentration to the soles of your feet. Just the soles of your feet. So feel the bottoms of your feet, the pads, the toes, the arch, the ball of your heel. Connect to your feet. Now hold that feeling and connect to the ground beneath your feet. Connect to the ground beneath your feet. So connect to the temperature, the texture, any sensations that you're experiencing right now from the ground. So feel those two things, your feet and the ground. And now what we're going to do is we're going to close the gap between your feet and the ground so that they become one. One. Now drop your awareness, your focus, down through the ground beneath your feet. And as you do so, I want you to become aware of a massive network of very fine roots. like the roots of a tree, like the fascia of your body. They're fine and delicate, and they push down through the layers of the earth. So I'd like you to push your awareness and consciousness down through that root system, down, 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 through all the layers of the earth, until finally you come to the center of the earth herself. And there you see the earth's core, round, solid, black. Connect to the earth's core through your roots. Enter the earth's core. The earth's core feels familiar. It is black, it is warm, and it is from here that you are connected to all living things on this planet. So just experience that. There is only unconditional love for you here. There is only support and nurturing for you here. This is the divine feminine. It is maternal. You can take this and you can bring that back up through that root system. And I'd like you to see it as a golden amber sap being pulled up through your root system, the fascia that connects you to the earth, up, 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 until it reaches the ground beneath your feet that are one with your feet. Now feel that frequency, resonance, vibration, sensation. Fill your feet now. I'm going to count from 10 to 1. And when I get to 1, that nurturing, maternal, supportive frequency is going to be all over your body, everywhere. All you've got to do is let go. Just let go. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Step number 1. You are grounded to the earth. Step number 2. We're going to use breathwork technique pranayama And we're going to breathe in through our nose very deeply. And we're going to exhale through our mouth more slowly. We're going to do that 5 times. So breathe through the nose, count 4, exhale more slowly through the mouth. Make a noise, groan. Remember you're releasing. And this is a light activation for your body. What you're doing is you're pulling in and drawing consciously prana, life force. This is a thing. It's what keeps you alive and animated. Without it, you would be dead. You would be inanimate. So by breathing mindfully like this, you are activating your own body and you're going to feel more vital afterwards. Okay, so 5 times. So continue to deep breathe like this, filling your lungs with oxygenated air. But don't labor. Allow it to feel natural. Step number 2, light body activated. Step number 3, we're going to prime our electromagnetic field. It runs arm's length all the way around us. It is us. It is intelligent. And it's from your biofield, your electromagnetic field, that you signal from and you receive to, or even the other way around. It's a signaling and receiving space. You are a transceiver. You are constantly signaling out through your electromagnetic field in waveforms, your desires, your wants, your fears, everything. So when you do DCT, this is a really important step to remember, because what you're doing is you're clearing your electromagnetic field so that you can signal very clearly and coherently what it is you do want to attract in your life. This is the law of attraction. That's what we're practicing here. So we're clearing out our field using our hands and our fingers and running our hands through our field like this. Now, I'm doing it like this. You do it as you want. And in time, you can simply scan your electromagnetic field like this, using your hands like satellite dishes, scanning. And if you feel something in your field that shouldn't be there, because you're going to get to know your field. We're doing a quick version today, but you can spend time on this step. Really stretch into the space around you and get used to the feeling, not the thinking. So if you sense something in your field that shouldn't be there, you can push it out, much like the earth, how she pushes things out into her atmosphere and they get burned up. So you can use your energy and you can push it out to the edge of your electromagnetic field and it will leave. That's how powerful you are. So I consider this a really important step. Now we're priming our electromagnetic field, which is another way of saying we're connecting to it through consciousness. We're becoming mindful of it. It isn't separate to us, so we are connected all the time. But we're priming it, we're getting it ready, we're structuring it to receive what happens next. And what happens next is step number 4, and that is the heart activation, which is going to activate the empowered I am. This is the unlimited you. This is really, really powerful. So put your hands in front of your heart, press in, really connect your hands to your heart. Gently open your hands as if you're opening a door. I want you to imagine walking through that door and entering into a space that is magnificent. You can see it as a temple. You can see it as a chamber. It is a sacred place. It is familiar. And it is from here that you connect to the source of all creation. Now, in this chamber, this space, you see a light. At first, it's a small orb, but as you enter the chamber, the space, this orb grows brighter and brighter and bigger, and you move towards it as it moves towards you. And there is a point where you merge with this light and become one with it. And when that happens, that light explodes into a rising sun. Now see that sun growing in its brilliance, in its brightness, in its power, sending rays of light in all directions, lighting up and empowering your primed electromagnetic field. Now, we call this in our community the powered I am. And if you want to know more about it, reach out to us. So see that light expanding out, 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 in all directions, lighting up your electromagnetic field. And feel that power. It's unlimited. This is who you are. This is always there for you. Now gently bring your hands back in, feeling the power that you have generated. It's quite palpable between your hands. Now we're going to move to step number 5, and that is we're going to connect to the group. So do this with your hands, bring it down to the third eye. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect to the group vortex energy. And we're going to see that group vortex energy as a beam of brilliant white light that passes through the enlightened mind all the way down into the heart. And what the heart does, because it's It's an amazing portal. What it does, the heart, is it waveforms, it creates a waveform out using that power and the power we've generated. And it creates a wave of coherence. You can see it as a ripple on a still lake, but it's also like a wave. Now see that wave, which we call coherence. See that wave forming out in all directions. And when it gets to the edges of your electromagnetic field, just let it go. Let that wave and ripple go. It's going to keep waveforming for you throughout your day and throughout the quantum field. For you have set it in motion. And now, because this is an empowered, sovereign technique, bring your hands together. We always close it in this way. Repeat after me. And so it is. For I command my space, and I bless my day, and I bless my world and all that are in it with coherence. And we say to you, notice what you notice in the quantum field today. Just be open to the epiphanies, the opportunities, the so-called miracles, the doors that open for you. And just remember that those things started right here, right now with you. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you again very soon.